It was just someone saying, we're going to get him over.
We're going to get him over. So this is where it goes a bit pear-shaped. It doesn't matter what happened. I didn't end up going to New Japan until I was already in America.
Right.
So what happened was New Japan used to do, and I don't know, but everything was very one-to-one. There's no phone calls, no anything. And I know this very well. See, I know a lot about the way my roots go very deep with New Japan. Let's put it that way, and we'll get further into this as we go. Right. There used to be a man called Joe Diego, Tokyo Joe, who lived in Calgary. And whenever there was any instructions to be given to any of the talent that were either in England or in Germany, and I was there with all of them from 1986 until 1992, when I came to America, there was always somebody from New Japan I was with, young guys. They would send Joe from Calgary to either England or Germany and bring them letters of whatever training they had to do or whatever it was. I had no idea what it, but Joe would hand deliver the letters and stay for a few days, a week or whatever, and he'd be there. And he was very well respected, obviously, by the company for him to do that. Here's one story. This was a mad thing. So in 1989, I was in Bremen in Germany, and we did 5 weeks. The night before the last night, they filmed some stuff for you. There was a new cable company. Cable was very hardly existed in Europe, but there was a company called Screen Sport, and in all these different European countries. And I wrestled on quite a few of their shows. We used to do them in France, but they ended up coming to Bremen and interviewing us. And I had to actually do an interview. That's out there, but I can't imagine how bad that would be. Because I was wrestling Colonel Brody, and I'd wrestled, and I used to train with Sasaki every day. That was another thing, because I was always I trained with all these fellas as well, you know. Because in 2000, 2000. In 1989, for that month, whenever we'd get to the building, me, Funaki, and Fuji Yamada, who became not long after Jushin Liger, we'd do squats together, and we'd do we'd train together as soon as we got to the building, and then they'd wrestle and I'd wrestle, and then we'd drive back together. So for a month or so, or whatever it was, it could have been a couple of months, I'm not quite sure at the time, we were on shows together. And so that's how, and it just reinforced mine and Liger's friendship, and I got to know Funaki. One night, there was something happened. Again, I'm skipping it backwards and forwards, but these little things that pop into my head. One night, there was a match in Croydon. Robbie Brookside tells this story very well. And it was Funaki and Liger, or Keiichi Yamada at the time, on with, I'm not going to say who, because that's not my thing, but two fellas. One of the fellas was a wonderful fella from Ireland. The other one was a bit hard work. A big, heavy fella. And I believe he's become one of these fellas who's created this, and he started getting a bit I'd known Facebook, but you know, people unfortunately tell me this. You know, oh, he's started to get a bit whatever on Facebook, and it's none of my business. I don't care. And that's why I don't want to say his name. But whatever that, I'd come out the ring. I'd watched the match, and I thought, this looks like it's kicking off a bit. But you know, Lucky Gordon. Oh, I said his name now. Lucky Gordon was the Irish fella. Lucky Gordon was a good fella, and there's no problems with him, but they had problems with the other fella. Not two fellas, you know, especially Fanaki, not two fellas to be having trying to think you can take any kind of liberties with.
Right. Wrong guys to do that with.
Wrong, especially Fanaki, right? Don't be, and Liger. I mean, you know, they're not, they're a different guy. And, you know, like me, 20 odd year olds that, and they've come through a completely different, whatever I've come through, they've come through a really hard system, right? You know, a punishing system. I just did that to me, you know, whatever I did is whatever I did, and I trained like them, but they had to train like that. I mean, I did that because I wanted to, they had to. There was no, so all of a sudden, I just go back into the, because it was, it was on the dressing rooms were upstairs, and I go back into the dressing room because the intermissions come in it. Next thing I see, the two that they were on with come running through, and Liger and Fanaki just charge. I mean, just screaming after them, and they've bolted like it. And Billy was Billy Gordon was a absolute gentleman and a wonderful fella, and lovely, and he could handle himself. You know, he wasn't, but it was, get out the way, because they were kicking off. Anyway, yeah. That's that. So that's how I got to know them. They'd asked me to go to Japan. I get back to this Eurosport thing. There was a match in Croydon. Robbie Brookside tells this story very well. And it was Fanaki and Liger, or Keiichi Yamada at the time, on with, I'm not going to say who, because that's not my thing, but two fellas. One of the fellas was a wonderful fella from Ireland. The other one was a bit hard work. A big, heavy fella. And I believe he's become one of these fellas who's created this, and he started getting a bit, I'd known Facebook, but you know, people unfortunately tell me this, you know, oh, he's started to get a bit whatever on Facebook, and it's none of my business.